Hello, hello. It's time for another reading lesson. Today's Tuesday, May 19th, and today we're going to be looking at using text structures to find the main idea. All right, let's get right into it. You're going to need headphones today or something, or a quiet place to work. You're going to need something to write on, something to write with, and as always, a brain that's ready to go. Our goal today, we are going to determine the text structure of a multi-paragraph passage to help you determine the main idea of the passage. So a couple big points in there. We are working on multi-paragraph passages now, so getting a little longer, a little more complex. We're going to determine the structure of it, how it's written, and we're going to use that as a shortcut for finding the main idea. So we'll know we're on our way when we can recognize cause and effect or problem and solution structures. Those are the ones we're going to focus on today. And then when we see that cause and effect or problem and solution structure, we're going to use the structure to write the main idea. Now, if that sounds confusing right now, that's okay. It'll make sense by the end. Remember, at the end of this, you're going to find those bright green slides. Those are the ones that you're going to turn into us. There'll be 2 questions today. Just 2. You're welcome. Let's get into it. When authors use structures to organize their writing, they help their readers understand the information better. So they think about the message they want to get across, and they think of a structure they can use to organize it. So we can look for structures that help us know what's important in a passage. You might find cause and effect, where they tell you first this is the cause, here's what happened because of it. We're also going to look at problem and solution. So here's a problem, and we're going to spend a paragraph or so talking all about what is the problem. And then we'll spend a paragraph or so talking about how it was solved. What was the solution? Some other text structures we've talked about are sequencing. So if we tell everything in the order it happened, first, then next, that's a sequence text structure. If it's important that things happen in order and we understand it in order, we'd use sequence. Sometimes an author also uses descriptive. If they really want us to know just all about something, tell us what it sounds like, looks like, feels like, tastes like, they might use description writing. There may not be events we need to know in order. We just need to know all about it. So different structures help us with different types of writing, and it helps us as readers to understand better. So today we're going to look at 2, cause and effect, problem and solution. So we're going to start with one called The Problem with Fame. Now, right away, I'm seeing the word problem in the title, so I'm starting us out with an easy one. I think we'll be able to find the problem solution here. Ready? You may think that being famous seems like a dream, but for many celebrities, being famous can have dangers and challenges. People can become famous for many reasons. Maybe they are a singer or actor, or maybe they are a politician or own a big company. When someone becomes famous, they may have their privacy invaded by fans, people trying to take pictures, or even angry people who don't like them. This can make it hard for them to be safe at home and put them at risk of attacks or danger while they are out and about. One way celebrities try to solve this problem is by hiring bodyguards or security people to keep an eye on their surroundings and keep strangers at a safe distance. Bodyguards are specially trained to help keep their clients safe using many different skills. First, bodyguards are good communicators so that they can talk with people who do not respect their client's privacy. For a skilled bodyguard, many tricky situations can be handled with words instead of getting into a fight. Bodyguards also have to be flexible. Their job is to follow and protect their client wherever they go. Sometimes bodyguards may go on vacation with their client or eat at fancy restaurants. However, the bodyguard is not on vacation. They have to remember their job is to pay attention to danger and keep their client safe at all times. So as we look at this one, we have 2 questions to ask ourselves. Does this passage tell why something happens? Is it giving me cause and effect? Or does this passage explain a problem and tell how to fix it? What do you think? Cause and effect or problem and solution? Well, hopefully what you notice is this first part tells about a problem. It tells about the problem that celebrities, famous people, politicians can face when people invade their privacy, maybe people who don't like them get too close, it's hard for them to be safe, puts them at risk. This is all telling me about a problem they have. This second part talks about the solution, one way celebrities try to solve this problem. So this is a problem solution text structure. Tells me first about the problem, then the solution. So now, what does this have to do with main idea? Well, when we recognize a text structure like problem and solution, we can use some sentence frames to help us give the main idea. We know that our main idea needs to tell about both the problem and the solution because both of these are important. So I like to use a sentence stem like this. Because blank, what's the problem and for whom? So blank, what's the solution? Take a minute to think about the passage we just read. What is the problem and for whom? So because of, go back and look at this first paragraph. When I read it, I would say, because people try to invade the privacy of famous people or celebrities. So that's my what the problem is and for whom. Because people invade the privacy of celebrities. So, well, how are they trying to solve it? They solve the problem by hiring bodyguards to keep them safe in many different ways. So let's look at what this might sound like. Because celebrities can be in danger from people not respecting their privacy, so they hire bodyguards with special skills to keep them safe. Notice I do give some specifics here. I talk about how they're in danger because of people not respecting privacy. I talk about bodyguards that have special skills, because if I just said they hire bodyguards, well, this whole paragraph is about more than just like hire a bodyguard. This bottom paragraph tells about what makes someone a good bodyguard, and I want to make sure I pull that into my main idea as well. But we can use this because of this, so this sentence frame for any problem solution or cause and effect paragraph or passage. Let's try with a different one. This one is called Backpacks Can Cause Backaches. Read with me. How heavy is your backpack? Many students are carrying books, binders, devices, and lunches in their backpacks. This may help them be prepared for school, but doctors are worried that these overloaded backpacks are causing back and neck pain for students, as well as bad posture. Some students even find their fingers tingling or numb after wearing a heavy backpack for too long. More than 2,000 students have to go to the doctor for a backpack-related injury each year. As you can see, heavy backpacks can be a big issue for students' health. Fortunately, there are things you can do to avoid the risks of a too heavy backpack. First, put your backpack on the scale. It should not weigh more than 10% of your weight. If you weigh 80 pounds, your backpack should weigh no more than 8 pounds when it is fully loaded. You should clean out your backpack regularly to avoid carrying extra weight. Second, pay attention to how the backpack fits. If you do have to carry extra supplies, make sure to wear both shoulder straps and tighten them evenly. This helps to keep the weight evenly distributed on your shoulders and avoid uneven strain. So think about this passage we just read. Does this passage tell why something happens? Does this passage explain a problem and tell how to fix it? I notice a little bit of both here. It tells us why people get backaches, right, from their backpacks sometimes. But I think the whole arc of this, the bigger picture here on this, is that it's telling us about a problem, the backaches. And the second part is telling us not about backpacks causing backaches, but it's telling us about how we can avoid getting backaches from our backpacks. It's telling us a solution. This is a problem-solution text structure. This first part tells us the whole problem of backpacks that are too heavy, and they're causing all sorts of things: neck pain, back pain, tingly fingers. And this second part is telling us about the solution. There's things we can do to avoid the risks of a too heavy backpack. So let's use our same sentence stem that we did before. Because of this, so, write down what you would write. Because, write the problem and for whom. So, what's the solution? I'll give you a minute to write. All right, pause if you need more time. Let's see if yours matches mine. I said, because heavy backpacks can cause injuries for students. Does your problem have something to do with heavy backpacks causing injuries or backaches, and that it's in students? If so, good start. So, you should check that your backpack is not too heavy and it fits correctly to avoid injury. I took those two things, that your backpack is not too heavy, this part about putting it on the scale, cleaning it out regularly, those are all about not being too heavy. This second part is paying attention to how it fits. That's what I put down here. And then I point out that this is to avoid injury because that's how it solves the first problem. Does your main idea look something like this? All right, let's take a look at another one. This is called gasping for air. Scientists have been studying kids who have asthma. Asthma is an illness that makes breathing difficult. In the United States, there are more than 5 million children with asthma. Scientists wanted to know what makes some children develop asthma while others do not. So they studied more than 3,500 kids who lived in California and played outdoor sports like soccer or baseball. Half of those kids lived in areas with clean air. The other children lived in areas with polluted air. Scientists wondered if polluted air might be causing some children to get asthma. After 5 years of studying the same kids, researchers saw that most of the kids in the study who developed asthma lived in the areas with high air pollution. The doctors say that breathing too much polluted air caused their asthma cases. The harmful substances in the polluted air increased children's risk for developing asthma. So does this passage tell why something happens? Or does this passage tell a problem and how to fix it? So it's tempting to say this is a problem and solution, because we definitely know that the problem is asthma. Or you could say the problem is polluted air. But do we have a solution here? Not that they wrote about. You might have ideas about a solution, but not in this one. So really, this is telling us a cause and effect. The effect is asthma. The cause is polluted air. So let's take a look now how we can use our same sentence frame to write it. Because of air pollution, what's the effect here? What happens because of air pollution? Well, when I go into the passage, it says, the doctors say that breathing too much polluted air caused, so the cause is air pollution, caused their asthma. So because of air pollution, kids who play outdoors are getting asthma. Notice I pulled in that part about playing outdoors because that was important in the first part too. So now I can use my sentence frame. I give you a couple different ideas because sometimes it's nice to have options. Blank happens because of blank. Because of blank, blank happens, or blank is causing blank. We can use that same because of blank, so blank. So here's some different ways this might sound. Students who play outdoors are getting asthma because of harmful substances and polluted air. Because of air pollution, kids who play outside are getting asthma. Air pollution is causing kids who play outside to get asthma. So we can say it in a lot of different ways. Either way, I need to be able to explain how the cause and effect, because that's what the main part of this paragraph is. It's the relationship between asthma and pollution. So I need to make sure my main idea shows that. All right, here's one for you to try on your own. Okay, let's look at another one. This is called Clean Water and Education. Imagine going through your day without access to water that is safe for drinking, bathing, and cooking. Around the world, more than 2 billion people can't easily get clean water. This lack of drinkable water impacts students' ability to get a good education. In Kenya, a country in Africa, getting water is a job for women and girls. The women often have to walk long distances to a water source in order to get water. Most people spend more than 4 hours each week walking to and from their water source. Girls often walk over 4 miles to get the water and then carry the heavy containers back home. Because it takes so long to bring water to their homes, the girls often have to give up going to school in order to have the water they need to survive. Sometimes the water they can find is not clean. Even water that looks clean may have bacteria and tiny worms that cannot be seen. This can cause serious sickness and sometimes even death. Many students in Kenya walk between 3 and 6 miles to get to school. Obviously, a sick student will not be able to make that walk and will have to miss school. In addition to students being sick themselves, when a family member becomes sick from dirty water, students often stay home to help care for them or take over their chores. When a teacher becomes sick from dirty water, there's no substitute, so classes are canceled until the teacher recovers. When students do not have access to clean water, it can make it hard for them to get an education. So as we think about this one has kind of some problem solution in it and some cause and effect. We could think about it either way. So let's think about the effect here. What's happening at the end of the day? Well, it says lack of drinkable water impacts students' ability to get a good education. It also says at the bottom here, when students don't have access to clean water, it makes it hard for them to get an education. And the title is called Clean Water and Education. So I can really tell the end effect is that it's difficult for students to get a good education. And now I want to know, well, what's causing that? Well, the first thing is, this first part talks about how much time they're spending just trying to find water and bring it back home. So because girls have to spend so much time walking to water, it's difficult for students to get a good education. The other part is all about how when the water makes them sick, they might not be able to go to school because if someone at their house is sick, they have to take care of them. Their teacher could get sick and classes are canceled, or they might be sick and not be able to make the walk. So the second part is dirty water makes students, family members, and teachers sick, and so it's difficult to get a good education. So now I'm going to go back and think about my sentence frames that I have. Blank is happening because of blank. Because of blank, blank is happening. Blank is causing blank. We can use any of these sentence frames to write it. For example, I said, students in Kenya have a hard time getting an education because water is hard to find and it often makes them sick. That's kind of the two big reasons. They have to spend so much time looking for it and they get sick from it. Because it's hard to find clean, drinkable water near their homes, students in Kenya have a hard time getting an education. So notice how this is really similar to this first one. I just put it in different order. I gave the cause first and then the effect in this one. This one I said effect and cause. The last one, lack of clean water near students' homes, is causing students to miss school because they're walking to get water or sick from dirty water. So this one I tell the cause and the effect, and then I explain the effect a little more towards the end. So all of these would be a great cause and effect because they show the relationship between water and education. All right, it's time for your assignment. You're going to have just 2 questions. Make sure you answer all of them, submit them to your teacher. That's in Dojo if you're My Class, Holmstrom, or Moldenhauer. That's in Google Docs if you are Johansson or Heinz. You're going to have 2 questions. It's going to look like this, the date at the top, question 1, question 2. Remember to pause if you need more time. All right, I gave you the main idea sentence starter, but if you want to use your own idea, you can. You're going to write the main idea of this article called Animal Exchange. Make sure you tell the main problem, for whom, and what was the solution. Pause if you need more time. Here's your second one. You're going to use a sentence frame. So I give you the 3 sentence frames we've practiced, or you can use your own idea, and you're going to write the main idea of this article called A Good Year for Butterfly Populations. Remember to pause if you need more time. You only need to use one of these or your own idea, so don't be confused by all 3. Great work today, you guys. I'll see you again on Thursday.